with Gina.
The News with Gina Grad.
Well, here's something else I hope we can get Mark Geragos' perspective on soon. Empire star Jussie Smollett was indicted on Friday by a Chicago area grand jury for 16 felony counts of disorderly conduct after filing what police are calling a falsified report of a possible hate crime.
Mark was yelling that
I bet he
was. R. Kelly, I think, had 10 or 12 counts against him, and Jussie had 16.
Well, here's why. Here's how that happened.
Also, you can never do that. Like Charles Manson had three, you can never.
It's not the same.
There's a little of the crazy stuff to me is that I always screw. Dominique Dunn was murdered by her boyfriend in her driveway, just choked the life out of her and left her in a hedge, and the guy did 44 months or something like that. And there's a version of this all the time in the law, which we don't like, but you can't play that game because there's always an insane version where somebody's sold a hit of acid at a Fish concert and did more time than the guy choked out his 19-year-old girlfriend. Like
Don King.
Yeah, Don King stomped a man to death.
And he walks amongst us.
Well, here's how they came to that conclusion of 16 counts. Chicago police had already arrested Smollett last month and charged him with one count of falsifying a police report. But the Cook County grand jury on Friday counted each part of the story separately, meaning that the actor could technically face up to 64 years in prison if convicted technically.
See, when you're getting busted for something, you want one of those things where you climb one of the Twin Towers in a free climb, and then the judge charges you 1 penny for every story. That you want one of those.
Yeah.
This is the opposite of that.
Yep. So with each of the 16 charges carrying a possible sentence that ranges from probation to 4 years in jail, that's how you could technically get to 64 years. However, Smollett's attorney, Mark Geragos, publicly insisted that the latest developments are overkill and an attempt by the Chicago Police Department to cover up their own misdeeds. He told TMZ that, quote, "This is a desperate attempt to make headlines in order to distract from the outrageous leaking of false information by the Chicago Police Department and the shameless and illegal invasion of Jussie's privacy."
I talked to him at
Mark's going Mark.
Yeah.
Full Mark.
Mark's got a mark.
I talked to him at length about this in Reasonable Doubt last week, and I said, look, what's going on is I don't know anything about the law, but I can sort of always kind of read between the lines a little with Mark. We swung really hard when he came out with this case. We went really hard on it, and because we swung so hard that way, now we're swinging harder the other way.
Correcting our course.
And he said, yeah, and I said, and your beef is you're not really allowed to overcorrect because you swung too hard. That's the news. That's basically the news's fault for swinging too hard that way. As far as the law goes, it's not really your job to correct what the news did. Your job is to apply the law, and this is like overcompensating.
Right. If it was a private citizen who filed this erroneous report, they probably wouldn't hammer him so hard with the 16 counts or whatever.
Right. So I think what Geragos would tell you, if not now, after a little Don Julio, is that that's kind of, the angle is not he didn't do it or this isn't a travesty or anything. It's just if this was a private citizen, what would we do? And so he is a private citizen, and just because everyone because we're frothing for these kinds of stories and there's such an appetite, there's basically we're at a deficit of racism. We have so many. The need for these stories is great. The actual stories doesn't fulfill the need, so everything will do. And it's weird to have a need for a story, but we do. We have a need. They need these stories, and they're not coming in as fast as they should or could or would. So they grab these things and go, "This'll work," without the due diligence part.
But this guy really went the extra couple of miles. It wasn't just some random, theory that something happened.
He did. It confuses me that he really went hard with the MAGA country and all kinds of, because people are like, Chicago, MAGA, no,
a rope,
not in Chicago. And then there was the whole sort of minus whatever degrees, and There's a lot of sandwich
It was fantastical.
stuff. It was fantastical. Anyway, we'll check in with Geragos.
Let me ask you guys this: if you're Jussie himself, not legal counsel, how long do you cling to the? Oh no, I'm telling the truth, and for how long? You know what I mean? Like, is he gonna? Would you fight back as if you are still telling the truth, or at one point is the game up? Because the evidence feels pretty overwhelming.
I predicted that Geragos. I was trying to tell him, look, you're shifting off of this didn't happen to this did happen, and here's how the cops screwed it up after it happened.
Right.
And that's where they're going. And I don't think you're going to hear much more from Jussie. And it is Jussie, according to Mark Geragos.
All right. Well, that's the lead. That's what we
the
buried.
lead,
It's
is
Jussie, not Jussie.
His name is Justin, though, isn't it? And he goes by Jussie. Look it up.
You can
it's spelled
find
Jussie.
Oh, that's why.
That's why everyone says Jussie.
Yeah, and it's short for Justin.
I know. I mean, that's what. I'll tell you what his agent. I'll tell you what his
Says Mark Geragos.
Fubu Esquire told me, sitting right there. It's Jussie, right? And he says Jussie, pronounces it Jussie.
Okay, that's the least of his problems.
Yes, you're right.
All right. Well, there will be a lot less cocaine on the streets thanks to a huge seizure at a port in New Jersey. On February 28th, authorities discovered 3,200 pounds of a white powdery substance in a container at the port of New York, Newark, and Elizabeth. Customs and Border...
We got to build that buoy.
Yeah.
Customs and Border Protection announced Monday that the substance turned out to be cocaine. Any guesses on what the street value?
How many pounds?
3,200 pounds.
Is that like a pallet, like a shipping container full?
It looks. I mean, that's what it looks like.
So it's 3,200 pounds. So it's like a ton and a half plus, or right at like a metric.
No, it's just
ton.
a little over a ton and a half. Yeah, well, I don't know about metric, but yeah, tons, 2,000 pounds.
Ton and a half plus, right? Yeah, over.
Uncut.
The old street value. And oh God. Well, first off, how much is cocaine now?
Oh, no, I don't know.
I'm pissed because when everyone was when people were doing cocaine, when it was all in vogue and hip and everything, and I wanted to do cocaine with them, I was making $8 an hour.
You couldn't afford to party.
And it was $110 a gram.
Yeah.
And I knew dudes who would work like cleaning carpets or stacking bricks or something for like $6 an hour for 13 hours and buy a gram of cocaine. I was always like,
it's a hell of a drug.
That's it. It's basically like you going, I make $7.50 an hour. Okay, I'm at a restaurant. Yes, I like the shrimp cocktail. Okay, that'll be $86. How many shrimps in there? 2 shrimp. And you go, bring it.
Yeah.
Like, I'd never do that. But then later on, I made a bunch of money and coke got down. Ugh. It got down to like $20 a gram or something. I was like, what the hell? Ready to do some booger sugar.
So what do you think? Street value of 3,200 pounds of coke?
Oh, I'll just say $100 million.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to go a little less, but of course millions. I was at 20 million.
Well, it is in fact $77 million in the street value. The container was recovered from a ship that originated in, get ready, South America. It's the second largest seizure at the port in 25 years.
What's coke a gram going for these days, Max Zapata?
Google that with safe search on.
It's like $60.
So it's sort of that, but
leveling out.
I swear to God, in the 80s, it was like $1.20 a gram. Yeah.
With inflation, my God.
If you ever do cocaine and it's good cocaine, you'll go, oh, I get it. I get why people are into this. Like there's a thing. It's not like seeing the band Fish. Where you go,
I don't get it. I just don't get it.
All right, I'm going to see what all the hubbub's about. Then you go watch them, and you go, I don't get it.
Everyone here seems happy, but I just don't get it.
Good cocaine is the opposite of the band Fish. You go, oh, I see why people get really bad habits.
I never thought of it that way.
It's Oasis. Oh, I get it now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I knew a guy who worked for like Miami Vice, and he like came back into town. He's like, I've got good cocaine.
Like the Miami Vice Squad?
No, the TV show.
Oh, the TV show.
Yeah, the TV show. But it was
like the Miami Vice Squad.
had good cocaine. And I was like, oh,
Wow.
let
What
me
do you think?
snort that.
That
I was
is
like, that's why people do cocaine.
That is a committed prop department.
Yes. All right. I think Don Johnson insisted on authenticity.
Well, Pete Davidson came back to SNL's Weekend Update to talk about R. Kelly, Michael Jackson, and separating men from their music, but it ended up with him addressing the audience about the 20-year age difference between he and Kate Beckinsale. I'll just show it to you. Here's a clip.
Did not catch it this week.
Oh, were you busy?
That was really nice, Pete. And is there anything else you want to talk about? Just anything else going on?
No, I don't think so.
Not like a new girlfriend situation at all, Pete?
Oh yeah. Apparently, people have a crazy fascination with our age difference, but it doesn't really bother us. But then again, I'm new to this, so if you have questions about a relationship with a big age difference, just ask Leonardo DiCaprio, Jason Statham, Michael Douglas, Richard Gere, Jeff Goldblum, Scott Disick, Dane Cook, Derek Jeter, Bruce Willis, Harrison Ford, Tommy Lee, Alec Baldwin, Sean Penn, and whoever the president of France is, Mel Gibson, Billy Joel, Mick Jagger, Sylvester Stallone, Eddie Murphy, Kelsey Grammer, Larry King, Rod Stewart, and Donald Trump.
Pete Davidson, everyone.
You're going down, Chad. You're going down. I don't even know what I do.
That's kind of funny.
So LeBron did not go to the playoffs rookie and second year.
That kid's no good, I tell you. He's got an evil heart.
Steers you the wrong way.
He's got a black heart, that kid. He's broken.
Child of the corn.
He's broken. He's got to go out. I got to wish him out in the cornfield.
Yeah.
His wires are crossed.
Literally yelled at him across the dinner table. Said, first year? Yep. First year, Cleveland. That made that big a difference. That franchise. Yep. He's going to spin it like, I'm going to talk to him. Remind me to yell. Tell Matt to remind me to yell at my son. Have Olga
The to-do list.
Send Olga text and tell her to yell at Sonny.
First year since Sonny's been, or every year that Sonny's been born, he's made the playoffs. 04, 05 didn't make it. 05, 06 didn't make it.
How else would he know?
That's
Yeah,
an
there's no way.
interesting point.
How else would he know?
All right.
By the way, with that Pete Davidson clip, I was thinking about it, and it's like, I get it, funny, clever, but were any of those age differences where the woman was older? Because I think that's what fascinates us, because we don't see that very often. We always see a dude with a younger woman.
I'm going to say no because that was his joke, right?
Well, yeah.
That was the thrust of his joke.
Right. Well, he said, basically, I'm not the only one. Here's a list of people with a giant age difference in their relationship.
The only female older that I can think of is Anne Hathaway and Ellen.
All right, Gina, just stick to the format, would you, please?
God damn it.
Stay on prompter, would you, please? You always get a little lost when you get off the prompter.
Like Ron Burgundy.
I think that was the thrust of the joke.
But can you think of any? I mean, celebrities? Because I can't.
Where there's older?
Yeah, the woman's older.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah.
Well, famously, John Travolta. John Travolta, his first girl back in the day, although, what do we find his sexuality? Problematic?
Burdensome.
Burdensome.
He finds his sexuality burdensome, is what I'm saying. When he was a young lad at the height of the Vinnie Barbarino, maybe even into Saturday Night Fever and Blowing the Bubble fame, he first real relationship, and I don't know if they were engaged, but they were living together serious, was his mom from Blowing the Bubble.
Really?
Yeah. Now, if I was talking to somebody, if someone was talking to me right now, it'd be my chance to go, his real mom? And then I'd go, no, not his mom. And then they'd go, you said his mom. So the actress who played his mom died of like ovarian cancer at a young age.
Oh.
And he was with her when he was probably 19 or 21 or something like that. And oh, wait a minute. The president of France. I owe Gina an apology.
Thank you.
The president of France, that's right.
Macron?
Yeah, he's a young guy who has an older wife.
All right.
You're right.
There it is. Also, speaking of moms
Ashton and Demi, so says Max Paddock, 25 and 41. But who was the woman? They were either engaged or living together. It was like a very serious relationship.
Wow.
And he was sort of height of his Vinnie Barbarino powers, and they were a very serious couple, although because of his burdensome sexuality, who knows exactly what it all was. And she was like, she died of cancer. He was, I don't know, 22. I mean, she was like in her 40s or something. I don't know.
Well, and on that tip, if the rumors are to be believed, you got some Greg Brady, Carol Brady action off the set.
Yeah. That's.
But we'll never know.
Liz Taylor's, I looked it up because I remember she married a younger man. Her last husband, Larry Fortensky, I think he was like at least 20 years younger than her.
Yes.
Yeah.
All the greats.
Anyway, John Travolta's. Well, who's the mother? Who played the mother in Boy in the Plastic Bubble? And then we'll be able to narrow it down by the name it says when you type in who played the mother in the Boy in the Plastic Bubble. That'll help us. Then we'll be on our journey toward finding the name of the person.
We'll have our first clue.
We'll have our first clue. Yes.
It was Anne Heche.
It might be.
Diane Hyland. Does that sound familiar?
What?
I don't know the name.
Okay.
I would tell you the name if I knew it. But is that what it says?
I just read the woman, the first. I'm looking at first bill just because I'm doing it on the spot here.
All right. Take your time. Go ahead.
All right.
I always thought the computer would sort of speed things up a little.
Well, he's already got a statue at Staples Center. Now TMZ reports that Shaquille O'Neal has a restaurant right there as well. The NBA legend opened up Shaquille's at LA Live over the weekend.
Imagine something Shaq won't endorse.
Oh, my God. That
Car
guy
insurance.
is such a
It's
crazy
impossible.
businessman.
And tons of his friends showed up to celebrate, from Adam Sandler to Julian Edelman, Tiffany Haddish. The restaurant specializes in Southern cuisine, featuring everything from Shaq's famous fried chicken and shrimp to grits. People at the party said the food was very good. So you can go down there before a game.
Sure, it's very authentic.
Yeah.
It's at the Staples
It's at
Center.
LA Live.
Oh, sorry. At
Yeah.
LA Live.
Yeah, right there in that same center. Shaquille's.
It's called Shaquille's.
Yeah, Shaquille's at LA Live.
God, how much money does that guy make?
Probably a lot.
Well, probably not from his sheriff gig. Isn't he still a sheriff?
I got to tell you something. If you are huge and lovable, there's a buck to be made in this society.
That's a good point.
You can't be. You can be menacing a little at the beginning part of your career, but then
George Foreman effect.
Yeah, then you got to be turning into George Foreman. Diana Hyland played his mom. She's 18 years older than Travolta, and she died at
In 1977 of breast cancer.
how old was she?
She was 41.
Wow.
And so he was in his 23.
Jesus.
So he's they were
They were together until
Wow.
her death.
My God.
Sad.
yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wonder if that shook his snow globe a little. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Maybe.
It's on the table.
Shook his snow globe.
I'm just saying.
Well,
Seemed like he was on
That'll
a
rat.
path, and
real horn dog.
something happened.
Peahound.
By the way, Mr. Film Vault, have you ever seen the Boy in the Bubble?
No, does that preclude me from
No, I'm just
enjoying
saying
movies?
it is.
And having an opinion on films?
It is. It should be seen.
Good or bad? Okay.
You'll see.
Someone hit me
He's
up.
in a big gerbil ball.
Someone, I get the concept. Someone tweeted me, and they said they're saying J. Michael Vincent died. I was just watching The Mechanic. Film buff, quote unquote. Paul Bryan hasn't seen it, so because it was made before 1980. I looked it up. Like, oh, maybe I'm remiss. It's like 40% Rotten Tomatoes. So I haven't seen every piece of shit made before 1980. I'm not allowed to enjoy movies. Talk about them.
By the way, that is not what I was implying.
I didn't want to see it,
reminded
but
me.
it's got the word
Thank you.
mechanic in it.
Yeah.
That's. I think it's based on a true story. And Boy in the Plastic
Yeah,
Bubble.
there was a bubble
and,
boy.
and he had his room was like all masked
Tented.
off and tented off, and at some point he got in his habit trail and all
Great
that kind of
Seinfeld
stuff.
episode about it.
Yep. All right. There was a
Moops.
stupid movie about that, starring the brother sister actor.
Osmonds?
The Gyllenhaals?
Gyllenhaals, yeah.
Oh.
Jake
I kinda
Gyllenhaal
remember. Yeah,
played
yeah,
the boy in
yeah.
the plastic
I do kinda remember
bubble.
I do not
like
remember
in
that.
a weird slapstick,
Vague,
whatever, like
vague
2003.
recollection, yeah.
Bubble Boy.
Bubble Boy.
No, there it is.
He's a young Jake Gyllenhaal, too.
Yeah, like 03 or 02 or something.
Oh, my
like that.
God.
It was like
Yeah.
Donnie Darko era.
2001.
2001. Circling back to Pete Davidson for a quick second, knowing Gina an apology.
Oh, thanks.
He named everybody, and I think everyone he named was just a dude dated a young chick, and then he said President of France. I thought was doing that too. Yeah. He's kind of screwing up his own joke because his sort of social commentary should be when the 40-year-old star is banging the 22-year-old, nobody has any questions. And now all of a sudden, if you do it the other way around, because of the double standard, everyone's got questions. There shouldn't be any more questions for me than there are for Michael Douglas. Right. That's his commentary.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But then he threw in, I guess, one.
Right.
Like I would argue, I would go, look, you just named 26 people. Get the one off.
Right. There's no need.
You're making a point. You're doing social commentary here.
Yeah.
Now Max Bass got to figure out how many of those there were and if there was anybody else on there, because I would have just crossed the one name off. But sorry, go ahead.
And that was the one he put like the most emphasis on too, which is kind of weird.
He's undercutting his own joke point. Sorry.
Well, Whoopi Goldberg says she is lucky to be alive. Fans have been wondering why she's been absent from The
View.
What
about us?
She posted a video to Twitter on Friday explaining that it was due to severe illness and that she nearly died. Joy Behar actually disclosed the illness on the February 20th show, but they just basically said they don't know how bad the severity is and she'll be back soon. So here's a clip of Whoopi describing what happened to her.
Here's what happened. I had pneumonia, and I was septic. Pneumonia in both lungs, which meant there was fluid. There was all kinds of stuff going on. And yes, I came very, very close to leaving the earth. Good news, I didn't. Thank you for all of your good wishes, all of the wonderful things that people have been saying. Even people who are not like huge fans of mine have actually said nice things about me. We all know that's going to change when I get back. But for right now, it's brilliant. And thank you for everything. And ladies, I cannot wait to see y'all. This has been interesting, and I'll tell you about it when we're all at the table.
I heard on Sean Hannity that the viruses were wearing MAGA hats.
Oh, my God.
So I don't believe a second of this.
Yeah.
All right, well, we wish her well.
Yeah. Indeed.
Even though she doesn't need to be on TV.
Well, more brushes with death. A woman was hospitalized this weekend when she entered a restricted area of the Arizona Zoo and was attacked by a jaguar. The woman's name hasn't been released, but she was reportedly trying to get super close for a super cute selfie at the Wildlife World Zoo Aquarium and Safari Park.
Hold on. In breaking animal news, I am... you can get my phone, Maxipad. I filmed. I used my phone to film something that happened.
How about that?
God.
And
Gina, there's your lead story.
I'm just hearing this for the first time. Breaking.
I was told when I bought my new house that ducks would land in my pool.
Like The Sopranos.
And I thought, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And it's been a few months. I haven't seen any ducks.
Okay.
But I took Philly cheesesteak out for a walk, and I came home, and I came into my kitchen, and I saw ducks in my pool. And then I was like, Philly, he's a water dog. If he ever sees those ducks in that pool, man, he's going in that pool.
Sure. Boo.
And so I said, okay. So I slid the back door open. I was trying to film the ducks the whole time. Phil was with me. Phil's like, I'm going with you. We went out and looked at the ducks. Phil didn't do jack squat.
What a surprise.
Nothing. He just looked. He didn't even raise a brow.
You didn't try to paw at him?
He didn't do anything. He just sat there and looked at these ducks. And then the ducks flew away, and he just sat there.
Well, at least he has an unbroken streak of doing nothing.
Yeah, he does stuff that you don't want him to do. His streak is not doing anything you want him to do. He does things.
Well, why chase after ducks for food? He got a drawer full of socks right inside.
Yeah. Delicious flip-flops.
It was weird. I thought he's a water dog. The dogs are in the duck. I'm showing you walk around my back of my house.
It's a nice house.
Phil's, cool. Thank you. Phil's trotting along with me.
Boy, he stomps.
I slid the door open.
Ooh.
I'll let...
Backyard's coming along.
I'm working on it. I feel like Lynette could probably work on it.
That's a bitchin' pool, though, I'll tell you that much.
It's got a... Looking at these ducks
that
are just sitting
guys.
in my pool. And Phil's just standing next to me looking at the ducks that are sitting in the pool.
And you're ready for him to attack at any moment?
He goes in the pool like all the time. I think he's going to jump in and he's bred to retrieve ducks. They just took off.
Not interested.
Phil, did you see those ducks? Phil had no interest in the ducks. I don't know, a little disappointing. I thought I'd get a little reaction, a little duck reaction out of him. A lot of video on today's pod.
Yeah. Well, we don't have the actual video of the attack, but the zoo officials are, of course, defending the animal. Here's what one of them had to say.
Aren't we looking at a Black Panther?
Do not hold the jaguar responsible for what happened.
Hold on a second. Press pause. Where do you get jaguar out of jaguar? Show me the eye in jaguar.
You hate that. You hate it.
Jaguar.
I always call it jaguar.
Get out!
You're right.
Jaguar.
Do not hold the jaguar responsible for what happened, and it has been concluded that the injuries were caused due to human error.
Human error. She basically got in a cage to take a selfie. Meanwhile, NBC shed light on a host of other selfies gone wrong. Here's a few more.
Oh, man, when there's a buffalo, don't turn your back on a buffalo. My grandpa would always tell me that.
Numbers show selfie-related incidents are on the rise. From
great white sharks and monkeys.
59 people died while attempting to take
a giraffe had a woman's head.
Yeah, there was a giraffe. Look at top right.
Or a man.
That's
Who
awesome.
knows?
Could be a camel? Is that a
Maybe?
giraffe?
I don't know.
It looks like a giraffe to me.
What's that weird? I feel camels are mean.
They spit.
Yeah.
And
as a giraffe.
I guess it is, but I don't know.
That's pretty great.
Doesn't giraffe have different coloring? That thing's like all brown. Oh, whatever.
That's a camel.
Thanks,
Of course.
Max
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's a camel. Camels are mean.
That would explain that.
They're nice for the part of the region they come from, but they're mean for here. They're mean for like the
birthday
U.S.
parties.
and Canada.
That's right.
All right,
They're about right for where they're from. You know, certain animals like scorpions are, well, think of where they're from, you know what I mean?
Come by it honestly.
Yes.
neutral. So here's the rest of that.
Show selfie-related incidents are on the rise. From 2011 to 2017, 259 people died while attempting to take selfies. In October, a couple fell to their deaths at Yosemite National Park during a trip they shared on Instagram.
That's terrible.
And in 2017, a close call for teens at New York's Central Park when an icy pond gave way mid-selfie.
There's kids in the
I don't
water.
know about you and Christy, but Lynette and I would definitely be arguing on the way down to the canyon if we fell off. You know, the
8.5 seconds it took to hit the ground.
We'd be arguing the entire time, like who told who to take the selfie, why she'd be yelling. I wanted to go to Maui.
Right.
We should never even been here in the first
We shouldn't
place.
be here in the
You
first
didn't have
place.
to touch the button on the front. You could have just touched the volume button and that would have...
Put it in portrait mode.
Yeah. We'd be arguing till we hit the floor.
Possibly after.
I mean, looking at this picture, I know I should talk more and look at less pictures, but they had like some kids laying on a trampoline, and one of them looked like Jussie Smollett. But either way. All right. Bring it home, Gina Grad.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news. Ha ha! You're stupid. You don't know what you're doing.
Gina Grad. That was the news with Gina Grad.